And welcome back to the show. Of course, we're continuing our COVER1 tour across the Concho Valley. We're going to be heading up to Mertzen. Of course, it's not called Mertzen. It's called Irion County. And we're with head coach Shawn Harrison, the brand new head coach out there for the Irion County Hornets. Before we get to him, of course, James Bellini, Ryan Chadwick. Guys, it's been a slow week of sports, but football is coming.
Yeah, it can't come fast enough, Matt. It's a little rough out here right now.
That's okay. We still got some football stuff to talk about. Of course, we're going to bring in Coach Harrison. Coach, I'll give you the first word. How's summer been going, and how's the team attendance for these workouts and things like that been looking?
We're really just getting started right now. We started our first workout this morning at 10 o'clock for the summer stuff. We give them June off. We play a lot of basketball and stuff and some 6-on-6 in June. So the true comeback and workout we started this week. Had a few numbers. Our older kids work, so it's sometimes hard to get them to come, but they've been coming on their own, and they contact me, hey, Coach, I'll be there tonight. I'll do the workout this afternoon or whatever when I get off work. So the kids are putting in the time. Okay, we're just now getting together with them, and it's going to be a good year. Excited, and of course, being a first-year head coach of football, it's for me, it's been exciting.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about that. Coach Don Cofell left.
Yes, sir.
He left with his son who graduated. And how was that? How's that transition been from defensive guy to head coach?
It's been good. I mean, I've been around the 6-man game for my whole. That's my started 28th year coaching. I've been in 6-man football all those years, whether I'm a defense coordinator or just help with JV or whatever. So it's I've been around. It's nothing new, and so moving to offense is going to be just on the varsity level. I've done some JV offense and stuff like that. So kind of putting things into place for me to call, because it's got to come out of my head quick. So there'll be a few changes we have, but we're going to keep a lot of the same stuff. It's what we did was really good, and it fits our kids, so we're going to stay with it. So it's been exciting. I mean, Cofell's still around. We spent all last week together at coaching school, visiting and talking and doing some things. So he's still around. So, I mean, it's not like he's disappeared from the face of the earth. So it's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, Coach, let's just build on that a little bit. Again, you said you were the defense coordinator last year, been that way for a while, switching over to offense now. What other coaching staff changes can we expect next season?
Well, Derek Shane's going to step in and do the defense. We've added a guy he's coming in from Aspermont. He didn't coach at Aspermont, but he's from Aspermont. He's going to be just an assistant with us. We've just hired him. And then, Coach Morrow is going to be out there with us. He's been there, lots of years. Two stints there at the Irion County head basketball coach. So very good. He'd do whatever we need to. So we got a solid staff again, and it's going to be fun. Just keep rolling.
All right, let's move into kind of the schedule a little bit. Of course, you had a really good season last year, really, really deep run into the playoffs. We were rooting for you guys to go to those states and maybe win a state championship, but you have to take some of those things and relay the message to these kids to keep their confidence up, thinking that y'all can go all the way and win the thing. How has things been since the exit, and what motivation have you brought to your kids who are going to be playing this next season with some of the same expectations?
Well, most of the kids that's going to be on varsity again were there last year, so they've got time. They were on, a lot of them were our backup running backs or backup ends, backup quarterbacks, and they had to step in and do some things. We've got 2 offensive returners and 2 defensive returners and 1 offensive returner, and then our probably third leading running back or third leading rusher is back from last year in Colton Laudermilk. So we got the pieces in place. They've been a part of it. They worked. It's one of those deals. They were against the starters every day last year if they weren't starting. So it wasn't standing on the side watching. They were out there. They were a big part of our preparation every week for every game because they kind of ran our scout team and stuff like that. So they've been in the mix. They've been a part of it. They were on most of those did our special team stuff for us. Somewhat, and played some big roles. So had some big catches. I know one little end boat went down in that May game with some cramps, and that kid stepped in and ran the route, and we hit him for a touchdown. And surprised May. I guarantee you May wasn't looking for us to throw the ball to that kid, but we had those kind of kids behind our good kids or our starting kids. So they're ready. They're hungry. They're excited. I've talked to them just about, we're not going to it's not going to drop off. We're just going to keep going.
All right.
You've brought up Laudermilk, and then before we started, we talked about Parker Posey.
Parker
correct?
Posey,
and
yes.
then
Keegan Wadsworth.
Who are the other kids who are going to be those contributors this coming season? Who's maybe one kid that
Major Connor's going to be there. He had to fill in one complete game at center last year, and never missed a snap, didn't miss a blocking assignment. He's going to be a good one, solid kid. He's been in the weight room solid for the last 2 years. I mean, he's gotten stronger, he's gotten quicker, and he'll do whatever you ask him to do. And he'll turn around somewhere on defense too, whether it's defensive end, a nose guard type kid. Down in the trenches, he's a trench guy. He's going to be good. Got good hands, so you can throw it to him. You know, our level, our game, you can throw to the center. So he's gonna be fine there. Of course, Laudermilk. Tyler Henderson's going to be a senior. He played some end for us. He's grown from about 6'1" in football last year. He's about 6'5", 6'6" now. So he's gotten taller. I mean, I walked out on the field the other day and they were out there messing around, and I'm looking up to him, and I'm 6'4". So I'm going, oh, he's gotten so much taller. He's going to be a good big part of it. Wyatt Morris, we moved him around different spots. He played a lot of different spots for us last year, whether it was a defensive back, an end, some running back. So he's going to be a vital part of what we do. So that's kind of the core. Irion Davis coming back at core. He was our JV our second team quarterback, and he's played JV all the way through at quarterback. So he kind of knows what we're going to do. So we've got the pieces. We just got to put them all together and figure out who's going to step in, step up, and what's going to work best for us.
And Coach, you say like you're going to see who's going to step up. Like, of course, when you graduate 6 guys like you are, like that's a big loss for a school like Irion County in that 1A system. Is there a certain guy who's kind of taking the lead already in this offseason to like that you can see as being one of the new leaders of this team?
Parker Posey is going to be our true leader. He's a vocal leader. He's started for us on defense for 2 years now, and offense for 1. And so he's going to be the guy that's the most experienced, and then he's going to step in as a leader. And then that Keegan Wadsworth, he's a kid that's just got a motor. One of those kids you can't teach motors. He's got a motor, and he'll go on defense. He's going to be a fabulous kid for us on defense. I think those two are going to kind of lead our way, and then everybody else is just they're good kids. We have good kids out there, and you can't teach that stuff.
I guess so. The real question is, graduated quarterback. Who's going to be the quarterback, Coach?
Still always up in the air. Irion Davis is solid, and then Wyatt Morris has been doing some work this summer. And we may look at him more in the spread because he is a running back. He can throw it a little bit. So some of our tight spread or the sets we have that's not true spread, but get out from under center. We may look at him doing some of that. So,
I mean, you graduated. Obviously, your quarterback, a big receiver, and one of the really good running backs. Is it different at the 6-man level when those kids move on than it is at an 11-man? Is it a little different? I mean, I know the game's different, but
it can be. I mean, it's going to be hard to replace those seniors, just because they've all been around in it or starting or a role player since their freshman year, and so it is going to be tough to replace kids like that, just that much experience. But these guys that's coming back, they understood what we were doing. They could step in anytime. We could throw them in anywhere. Several of them could play multiple positions and did multiple things for us when kids were cramping or tired, or and then late in games when we're beating people last year, that they could step in and we just take it right down the field on people. So it's hard to replace those kids. Don't get me wrong, but this group, what we've got, I think we're just going to continue on.
I guess that's also a good thing of going as far as y'all did in the playoffs. They got just that extra playing time, but they had
every
extra practice
time
and everything.
Yeah,
so
13 games.
Right. And Coach, of course, talking about how y'all are going to be fine this year, looking at the schedule, is there a particular game that y'all have picked out that you're like, oh, we want these guys again? Is that one of those things like it might not even come until the playoffs where like, I want this team in the playoffs? So, of course, didn't go all the way last year. Like, you might see those guys again in the playoffs next year, so anything like that?
Well, just to start the season, Buena Vista is going to be good again. They're going to have a new coach, but they were so young and athletic, and it's been the last 2 years, it's been 80 to 60, 83, 80, something like that in both games. So it's a high-powered offensive type games, and it's going to be that again. They got so much talent coming back so you're starting the year, your first game with a very athletic team. So we're going to see where we're at early. Schedule's pretty much the same going through. Highland's going to be good. Again, there's going to be even more experienced and that coach has been there a while, so they're just going to get better and better. Get to district's not going to be it's going to be tough. Menard, Robert Lee's got some good kids coming back. Very Best was much improved. Eden's going to be real young, but they're very athletic. So get through that, and it's what we've been doing for 3 years. You're either going to get May or Jonesboro. If you win the district, you're going to get the runner-up out of that district. You get second, you're going to get the winner out of the district. So we've seen May 3 times. And last year we got to see Jonesboro in the 3rd round because he actually got by May. So it's going to be about the same, just like that. So those games are always, you got them on your mind. You're looking ahead to those playoff games. We want to win every one we get to, every game we get to, win district. But of course, May and Jonesboro, they're going to be highly ranked. Haven't seen any rankings yet, but I'm sure both of those are going to be highly ranked in D1 and coming out of that district. So you always look at one of those 2 teams, you're going to get first round. So.
And I'll kind of build onto that. We've talked to coaches who are kind of maybe in a similar position as you guys are, who y'all are the powerhouse of the district. I mean, you ran the gauntlet, won every single game by a lot. Some of these games are ending at halftime. How do you keep your team just staying focused on playing really solid, good football while you're in the midst of a 12-game winning streak with the last 4 of them winning by 45?
You got to focus on each game as they come, and every team has their positives, what they're good at, and you just got to scouting report, focus, and keep the kids on the ball, and to just play every game first. You can't overlook anybody. If you start looking at, well, we're going to win district again, and no matter what, we're going to walk out here and do it, and somebody's going to beat you. Somebody's going to have a good game, whatever it is, you get a kid hurt, anything like that. So if you focus on every game as you go, we should be okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, six man so much, I guess 6 man's just kind of different from what everybody's used to watching. Can you kind of explain 6 man in like the layman's terms that maybe some people who haven't seen much 6 man can kind of understand? The center can catch the ball, he snaps it, he can go catch it. Can you kind of explain the differences?
Yeah. Well, on the snap of the ball, there's got to be a clean exchange. So whoever gets the first snap has got to give it to someone else before they can run. The guy, what you call your quarterback, can't run the ball. Or your first guy that gets it from the center cannot run it, cross the line of scrimmage with it. So that's a change. You have to have a clean exchange, whether it's handoff, pitch, or he can throw it downfield. With that being said, everybody on the field is eligible for a pass. So any lineman, running backs, even the quarterback after he pitches it, anybody's eligible for a forward pass. And that's really the biggest 2 changes or whatever that that people don't understand. Right. That watch 11 man all the time. That's the biggest part of 6 man. Other than that, it's just less people on the field. Kids got to be good tacklers. They got to be able to move in open space, run the ball. Your blocks can be quick if you get your kids where they're playing downhill. On offense, you can get through the line quick. Your blocks don't have to be as long. So smaller, quicker kids, you can just shield somebody off for 2 seconds. You can be gone. Games change a little bit. Now you can't cut outside of the tackle box, about a 5-yard deal in there. You can't go out and cut people out and none downfield anymore. So it's changed the game a little bit away from the little bitty guys that quick and just go take your knees out in a hurry. That's changed a little bit. So some of your strategies have changed, especially defensively and offensively. Bigger running back blocking, lead blocking, or bigger defensive ends that don't have to worry about getting cut can be more effective. Just stuff like that. Just little things in the game with the rules that have changed. But it's still football. You still got to block. You got to tackle. You still throw the ball. You got to see the holes, hit the holes, all that kind of stuff. So it's similar, but it is a little different.
Cool thing is you can score 100 points.
Well, I guess the biggest part is that 45-point rule. To score 100, you got to give up a bunch too.
Yeah, that's true.
With that 45-point rule, where after at halftime, if you're up by 45, the game's over. You don't have to go finish the game. I wish they'd put it in 11-man. Some of these big, because if you can 45 somebody in 11-man, you've pretty well demolished them. And it's been a long day for some of these teams. But
yeah, that's no joke.
But it's good. I love the game. Sometimes people ask why I like it. Being a basketball coach before, I just tell them it's like basketball and grass. You just add one guy.
But it's basketball and grass.
Yes, it's still wide open. It's fun, and I mean, and if you've got the kids, you can put a tight package in and pound people. So there's it can be adjusted to any type of kid you've got, and still be fun for the kids.
Does that kind of change how some people might look at the offense? They might have a like a basketball where you try to feed the ball to one guy. Does that put some plays on your offense where you try to confuse the defense and get one of the defensive backs to follow and open up the field?
Always.
Does that just kind of change
You're
up
always
how you-
sending decoys. You're always sending, a lot. We use a lot of the third route, and that, if you send one receiver, usually somebody's out there to cover them somewhere, unless you're just not very good. Two, everybody's package usually has two. When you start, misdirection, bootlegs and stuff, and you send that third back out there, a lot of times they're open.
So it's a lot more there's probably a lot more strategy in trying to send two decoys and then the guy's going to get the ball on a.
Well, it's not necessarily decoys, just kids. You got to understand what the other team's trying to do and where the weakness is going to be, and then try to put a kid in that spot. And you got to teach your kids that here's your first look, here's your second look, and this is the guy that's probably going to be open. If that guy's going deep, but they're playing deep, he's probably not going to be open. But we can't not look at him, because if they do make a mistake and he's open, you got to hit him. You got to score. So you give him the progressions and stuff like that to put him in the best place to succeed.
And Coach, I know you always have a game plan, but is 6-man even more like game time adjustments, like halftime adjustments, like than 11-man football? Like if you see something, or you're like, okay, we have to take advantage of this, otherwise we're not going to score at all.
Yes, you better have some alternative to what you're doing, some scheme in somewhere that you've practiced, that something you think is going to work and doesn't, or they come in with a completely different defensive scheme than what you've worked on all week. You got to be able to make quick adjustments. A lot of that time is, you play so many different teams, scrimmage teams and all that you'll see most of the defense. And a lot of times it's just the blocking schemes, changing the blocking schemes. We're going to hit, instead of this hole, we're going to hit one hole wider. It's still the same play. We're just going to hit it one hole wider. We're going to block down instead of block out. Just little things like that. The running back's going to get the guy, not you. You're going to go ahead and go get this guy. So some of it's blocking schemes, and like you said, it's a halftime adjustment. It's sideline adjustment. You're doing it on the fly. And the better your kids are adjusting, the better you're going to be. And sometimes you just got to allow your athletes to be athletes. You may send a kid defensively trying to, tendencies and stuff like that, and you send them the wrong way. The best teams, their kids can go from that and just reverse the field, change direction, and still go make a play, maybe a first down or something like that, save a touchdown, and then go back to doing what you're doing. Sometimes you just got to rely on athletes.
Mm-hmm. So you already have plan. You don't just have plan B. You got plan.
Yes.
HIJKLMNOP.
Well, I'll give you an example. We scrimmaged Belmurray, which is always like number one, number two physical team. I love going against Vance Jones because he is so fundamentally sound, and his kids are so tough. To me, it gives us an idea of how we're going to be. But we walk out there last year, and they pop us right in the mouth in that first. It's a second scrimmage, and our T offense didn't work. Well, about the third play, we go to a wing, just move one running back to the wing. Now they have to cover 4 holes instead of 3 holes, and all of a sudden we move the ball, and then it just changed the whole complexion of the scrimmage. And if we'd have stayed probably in our tee the whole time, they'd have popped us right in the mouth, and we'd have gone out there with a bad taste in our mouth. But move one kid to a wing and make them have to defend one more gap in your offense, and we started moving the ball and got something. Then we come back to our tee and it worked. So sometimes just that little change like that and makes a huge difference.
Yeah, just mess them up just a little bit.
Yeah, just make a 16-year-old kid think. I mean, that's the biggest part.
Honestly, yeah.
Put a 16-year-old kid in a spot he's never been in before. That's y'all know how that is.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a 16-year-old kid once.
Exactly. All right. Well, this is last thing on cover one. We always do one final question. I will go ahead and start this, and then we'll all ask one more, and then I'll give you one final thought for yourself, Coach. So my question here is, I usually ask who is like the meanest lineman or the roughest, toughest lineman, but I think you're the defensive guy. The biggest thing about six-man is open field tackling. So I would rather ask, instead of who's the meanest guy, who is the best open field tackler for Irion County, because that is the person that could make it or break it for you guys for y'all season.
For us, it's probably that Keegan Wadsworth. He's so quick, and a lot of times he catches people from behind, and he can close a gap in a hurry. He'll chase people down. He rushes when teams are in spread. He's our spread rusher, and he'll keep kids in front of him. And even if they dump it off, he'll turn around and sprint and catch people. So he's probably our best. You wouldn't look at him as a form tackler or a big monster or big hitter, but he's always going to get there and make the tackle. And sometimes in six-man, I tell kids, the best thing you can do is make the tackle.
Yeah.
You can go for the big hit all day, and if you get the big hit award, it's all good. But if you miss 3 tackles trying to get that big hit, it's not any good for us. We'll have 6 kids that just go tackle, and he's going to be one of those that just gets to the ball and tackles.
Right on.
All right. You said you've been coaching for nearly 30 years. You've been out at Irion County for a while now. You're their defensive guy. Now you're their head guy. What has coaching at Irion County taught you about yourself, and what does that community out there mean to you?
Well, the community's awesome. I'll start with them. I mean, I don't know if y'all went to our playoff games. We ended up playing over in Early, and Early's got a pretty good sized stadium, and it was filled to the max. They were there 30, 45 minutes early, had flags up. I mean, I call it Hornet Nation. You can't, there's people come up and say, hey, great job, and never seen them before, and so they follow us. I mean, they're if we need something, we ask, and somebody's going to come and do it for us. So the community behind this team, the school behind the team, teachers behind the kids is amazing. You have it in a few places, but not every place has it, and it can put you over the top at some times. Administration is great. Ms. Chapman, she loves our kids, and she's always there for them, and she's awesome. So in that regard, doing it for so many years, for me, I teach. I teach on the field, just like we teach in classroom. I teach the game, whatever game it is. I'm not a believer in just, okay, we're running this defense, y'all go be athletes. I try to get them to understand why they're doing it. I tell you to read that kid, attack with his shoulder, do whatever. There's a purpose in it. And when they start figuring those things out, and I see those light bulbs, that's what I call it. When you see the light bulb come on, a kid starts understanding. And then boom, boom, all of a sudden you get 6 kids that are understanding what you're doing, or in basketball, 5 kids that are out there on the floor and all of them understand. That gives me as much joy as the winning and losing. Just seeing the kids starting to understand what we want to do and why we do it, and then go perform and do it. And you see them start having more fun. And that's me. I'm a teacher first. So I want to teach the game, and then the wins and losses will come.
Yeah, I was in early, so I saw the stands packed, and even in basketball, I mean, the stands were always there.
Yes, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, it was pretty insane, but it was cool.
All right, Coach, and just going to build off James' question a little bit. Before we start the interview, talked about coaching at Tarleton State for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Is just talk about like the biggest difference from college to high school coaching, and what lessons you brought from college to high school, and finally, what do you like best, college or high school?
Well, I can give you the quick answer to the college versus high school. I did not like recruiting. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason I came back to high school, was I did not like to recruit. Recruiting's hard, it's time consuming, and I already started a family and stuff. So that's one of the reasons I got back into the high school level. The coaching part is a lot the same. I mean, it's just a year or two older kids, so. But what I learned is how to treat people from my college days. I worked for Lon Reisman there at Tarleton, and he taught me how to, treat your custodians, treat the people in the building, treat the fans, what it takes to just be a part of everything. So coming in and being a part of communities, I've moved 6 or 7 times with the high school teams, and just coming in and being a part of a community, getting involved, and then treat people like the way you want to be treated is the biggest part I've learned, So as far as the college goes, I just know what it took when a kid comes into college, so I feel like I can help a kid understand when you come in there, it's a job. It's not just, you're not going to go play. It's not intramurals. You're not just going to go play. Everything you do. We'd lift weights from 9 to 10. We'd have a study hall from 7 to 9 before that, and then the practice during the day. And kids just don't. They think they're just going to college to be, to play a little bit of basketball, but it's going to be fun. I mean, like, no, it's a job. So. That part of it, where I feel like I talk to a kid, it's interested in going to college and what it is, and even not even just playing. If they want to go be a part of an athletic program, what are you going to have to do to get into that program and be a part of the program? So,
all right, Coach, I'll give you the final thought here. Just give the fans out there something to get excited about for this upcoming football season, and just to get everybody ready.
Well, I just look at these kids, and I've watched them play basketball in June, and I've watched us play 6-on-6 in May and early June, and just seeing the excitement. And then I get to go to coaching school and get to be with all the other coaches that are in the Six-Man Association, and that just fires me up. I'm always ready to come home and go to work. When I come back from coaching school, you learn so much from the other guys. They talk to you, you talk to them, and you get to see them, and it just puts your brain into it's here, it's time. And so I've been off and on since I've took the job, looking at what's my offense going to look like, what little bit am I going to change there, how is it going to be to change from defense to offense and giving up the defense that I've done so many years. And every time I go to work and start doing it, I just get excited. I start looking at kids' names, put their names in, which ones are going to play here and there and all that, and I just start getting excited. And I just think, I know that we can be very competitive. We can win our district. We can make the playoff run. And we can continue what we've already built there in the last. It's been 4 years since they dropped down to 6-man, and it's been a good run. And I think these kids are excited as we are too. They're starting to take a little ownership, and that's one thing I pushed to them when I first talked to them in the spring after track season was over and everything. I said, "It's yours now. These guys have graduated. This is yours. You got to take ownership." So ownership is a big thing for me, and I can see kids starting to take that. So I hope the community enjoys, as excited as I am about what we're fixing to do.
It's going to be an exciting season, Coach. We really thank you for coming on. And guys, once again, this is head coach of the Irion County Hornets, Shawn Harrison. Coach, we really appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Perfect. And we'll go back to the studio.